rifle, I have a run and gun AR, and then I have a sniper, SMG, overkill, quick swap class, so that I can be the Pomage I want to be on the inside, but the Scumpy on the outside.
I just have one thing to say. I just literally 2 minutes ago, Jack was just helping out Doc over here with the settings. I don't know what he was doing. Something tells me that Jack has something up his sleeve. Clem, we're going to roll it back to you now.
I want to point out, Clem, before you take that, I actually helped Jack out with all of his classes.
Yeah, he had no idea what he was talking about.
No idea.
Wait, so all that bragging he just did to his classes, you did that?
So he looked at me and was like, what do I use? I was like,
abonnés, il y en a que c'est des abonnés.
We're friends, I got you.
I mean, we got to play a little bit yesterday.
Right.
We got a couple of secrets, and it looked like you were helping him.
Il a déjà fait 15 vues ma vidéo.
What he was talking about. Not as well. Well, yeah, that's it. I mean, it's going to be us four. We're going to have Christine and Sensor also helping us out. So thanks, guys. They'll be kind of getting feedback, chatting with the players over the course of the day. But it's time to get into it. I want to get on the gameplay. It's going to be the 6v6 gameplay we're going to be hopping into. I'm excited for this because what we went back to 5v5 this year, we're now back to 6v6. I believe we're going to be starting out, it's going to be runner domination. So I'm sure most people are familiar with domination, but just at the basic level, Joe, talk to me about domination.
Yeah, domination, 3 flags, A, B, and C. You get points by capturing those flags. The more flags you have, the more points you get. Well, you win the game by having all those flags and getting all of those points. So yeah, I mean, everybody knows domination, but you want to get as many flags as possible.
Well, hopefully shortly here, the guys will be loaded up, and we've got a lobby full. We've got a ton of different games going on. I think we're going to be hopping kind of pod to pod to just show off different players throughout the course of this. Jack is just slugging energy drinks right now, hyping himself up. Jack, what are you saying now?
He's just screaming.
Jack just loves you.
Whoever did the seating chart needs to be fired immediately.
He's too close to us right now.
Get him and Legion just tossed in the back. It's got to be tough, too, for him because he's sitting next to Doc, who is just basically better than him in every way. Doc's what, like 6 foot 8.
Mon truc en direct.
Handsome. Yeah, Jack's looking like Frodo-esque next to him at the desk. Well, at least they're even sitting down, though, he's got 12 inches on him.
He's incredibly more talented.
I want to turn this should be the roast of Jack.
Oh, you're right.
Look, Jack's a fantastic player, but let's get to the action, right? That's what everyone is here for. Let's see some multiplayer 6v6 domination. I think the map they said was going to be runner. This is a map that we had a brief little bit of games on, not one.
We're going to run a couple maps, yeah.
But a couple of maps. It seems pretty good, Joe.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Yeah, I mean, there's some doors I know that the devs were talking about that you can interact with, a couple of different buildings with, you know, again, it's not your typical 3-lane map that we're sort of used to these last couple of years. So it's going to be interesting to see the way the players sort of move on the map.
Well, kind of hearing the philosophy from a lot of the developers about those power positions. Would you have, Nameless, would you have one big tip with the game slowing down, with it being power position focused from your heyday back with Modern Warfare? What would you recommend to a new player?
Yeah, I mean, it's just when you get to those power positions, just try to check every single angle, right? Like, you gotta slow down in a game like this because those ARs are very powerful. So when you get to those power positions, just try to check every single angle and don't focus in so much on one spot.
I love that we're starting off with Shroud as well.
That's what I mean, if we can just watch Shroud all day, I'm cool with it. That does not bother me at all. The guy, you know he's going to put on a show.
Seriously, if I had 3 wishes and everyone says like superpowers, being rich, being famous, I just want to be able to play games like Shroud for 24 hours.
Just one day.
Well, that's one of your wishes?
Yes.
Not just for 24 hours.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I guess you're right. That's a really dumb wish because I guess I could just do it forever, couldn't I, Joe?
Yeah, you
can. La map de Modern Warfare remasterisée.
We'll check out the actions. He's, I think, just trying to get through his loadouts, trying to get his sensitivity all squares. The guys were just getting set up here as we were going through stuff with Joe and Jeff from Infinity Ward, but the game just looks so good, man. It was awesome hearing them kind of talk about the engines, everything that's been added to this from a lighting standpoint, from, what was it called, photography?
Sounds right.
You remember, I know, what was the word for that? Oh, I butchered the hell out of that. Photographer me?
We'll go with that.
Okay, I don't think that's right either.
Either way, it's insane, right?
I'm not the best with words, man.
Taking pictures of pretty much everything and putting it into the game. That's absolutely incredible. I'm pretty sure I saw TP as well.
TP's in this lobby.
He's on the other team, so we'll keep our eyes out for TP. But Shroud finally started to heat up. He started off with a sniper rifle, adjusted his settings, said, nah, it's not for me. Let me change things out. And obviously now running the assault rifle.
Yeah, he's got the M4 in hand, and I know you and I were having a lot of fun with this M4. Yes. I mean, Call of Duty classic, right? Just such a good assault rifle at any range that you want to use it. And I mean, we were talking about the benchmark, all the different attachments that you can have. Shroud's got a couple on here.
TP just killed Shroud. That's now the highlight of TP's career.
And what's cool is when I saw Shroud enter that building, there was a ledge there, and it gave him the option to mount his weapon. So now you can mount your AR, and it'll reduce that recoil, and you can kind of just lock down one lane with your your AR mounted. So it's kind of a new thing they added to COD that we've never really seen before on your main AR that you can do.
I think that's going to stress really good tactical and lethal use. If you've got a solid player set up in a power position like that, it's going to be bananas to deal with.
And of course, let's not forget, at any point, you can, hit start, go to your classes, and customize it in the game. So if there's, a certain player...
Vous n'avez pas les piqueurs pour se régénérer en fait.
Very quickly, if you wanted to, for example, put a sniper scope on an assault rifle, turn it to single fire, and bang, right there you still have your favorite gun.
There's just so much customization in this game, and I'm a big AR guy, especially in Modern Warfare games. I love using assault rifles, and to change something like an M4 into a burst gun, I just think it's so amazing and awesome that you have that ability.
Well, I think one of the big things that everyone continues to talk about, there's going to be different power positions, and how do you get those players out of their power positions, and maybe one weapon with one customization doesn't work, but you continue to make those changes. So we'll see how the players continue to work on it. We'll see what adjustments they're making.
I think, Ben, you were pointing to me that, what was this, streak earned by Skadoodle?
Skadoodle, he's already earned himself one streak. He has the Juggernaut selected, hasn't earned that yet. I am curious to see if anyone today actually earns that, because I know, Joe, your first game, you sat down and I was like, oh, I get to be on Joe's team. Juggernaut first game. I was like,
Noah J just destroyed Skadoodle.
Well, and I'm actually excited to see Sky when he pulls out that sniper, right? I mean, he has the nickname American Sniper for a reason, has the AK right now, but we know when this guy gets a scope in his hands, he's gonna make some plays.
A couple more streaks available as well. So things starting to heat up here. Here's Jericho. Of course, he's picking up a couple of kills. And again, I do want to reiterate, cross-platform. Even here at the multiplayer reveal, a couple guys are going to be on PC, a couple guys on console.
So we just saw something cool out of Jericho. He just changed his gun to full auto as he was entering that room. Unfortunately, he doesn't get that kill, but I like the idea of going into close quarters combat and switching to the full auto and try to spray him down.
Well, the game just flipped on its head a little bit. They had a 3 cap there for a moment, which really allowed them to push out a massive lead, but quickly the red team get back in control. But we'll stick with Jericho's POV. I want to see if these streaks start to come into play. But Jericho, obviously, he has been a long-standing community member in Call of Duty since really the dawn of time, Ben.
Oh, yeah, he's been playing for a very, very long time. Of course, a fantastic content creator as well. It's always good to see him and see what he can try and bring to the table here. But you can see okay. Jericho, I'm trying to gas you up. Come on, man.
That's an MP7, man, right? You run into those doorways, you see that MP7 submachine gun.
Well, you were the guy kind of running the gun because we were playing yesterday with, like, what, it was like 10 of us, and I'm mostly an AR guy because I'm slow, and you were flying around smoking me. Is that what it was, the MP7 you were using?
MP5.
It was MP5.
Yeah, I think the MP5 is the weapon I had most fun with. I'll give you some tips before the
tu me rejoindre dans une partie ou
the
pas?
MP5, another Call of Duty class.
Ouais, après, ouais.
Keeping him close to your chest.
Je suis avec papy là.
Just saying.
What was the burst gun that you
Vas-y, j'arrive.
obliterated?
Regarde, rejoins-moi.
I thought I got sniped, man. I just got ripped off the map.
It's the class I told Jack to put on. So when we get to promote on Jack's games, I'll kind of talk you through it. But there's a couple of weapons which I've kind of tested out, because naturally, you get your hands on a new Call of Duty for the first time. Like when the open beta comes out, you're going to try everything, right? Because you want to get the biggest advantage as quickly as you possibly can. There's a couple of guns where I think, come open beta, it's going to be pretty powerful.
Yeah, and talking about that MP5 that Joe is using, I remember I made a class after he destroyed me with it, and I just put every single attachment on my gun that would make me move faster. And it just felt amazing on the map being able to move so quick with that submachine gun.
That's a choice as well, but we didn't really touch on it when we were talking about the kind of customization that you can go through. But there's a lot of pros and cons to pretty much everything. If you're going to get, for example, a little bit of help with vertical recoil, you're going to give something else up. Maybe it's ADS time, maybe it's movement speed.
When I was
pros and cons to everything.
I think it's something, I think he said it in rehearsals yesterday, but I was talking to Jeff at Infinity Ward. He said, he's like a big MMO, like an RPG fan. He likes skill trees and all the stuff that goes into it. So it's kind of what they were thinking of with Gunsmith. You always have that kind of give or take with certain armor pieces that you would use in other games. And yeah, I was going through it, and I was looking at the different stocks and different foregrips. I'm like, all right, well, if I do this, I have to, so I sprint slower.
On dirait vraiment le Medal of Honor Warfighter en fait, les gars.
It's awesome.
Je sais pas, mais c'est pas pour vous.
There is for variety.
Well, we're just so used to,
What
does a grip do, right? It reduces recoil, lets you aim in a little bit quicker, but as you say, there's different stocks now that might help you, zoom in a little bit quicker, but it'll slow you down. There's all these different options. It'll just be so fun when this game releases at beta, like how players want to play with each weapon.
Yeah, there was like a stock, and it's like if you want to reduce idle sway, like you're going to be slower, and it just makes a lot of sense. And you know, I enjoyed sort of the aspect of just creating my class and trying to figure out if I want to be fast with this gun or if I want to slow down. Like, when I'm using the M4, am I going to be in a power position? Okay, so on this map, that's what I'm going to make.
And again, I think one of the keys, just to kind of reiterate, is you're going to come into those situations in a game, right? You create your class and you think, oh, I wish I'd, you know, could maybe be a little bit quicker. Change it in the game. It's as simple as just hitting start.
You have to be quick. You have to be quick with that.
Well, yeah, but either way, you know, if you know what you want to change, it's, you know, relatively simple to do so.
TP's going off right now. Did you guys see that?
So what are his stats?
17 and 5 from team.
I just can't play with Nameless again. The guy started at 9-0 yesterday. How many times did we hear about it throughout the course of the night?
One thing we talk about
because you were attacking me, so I had to. you kept killing me.
I think, Clint, one thing you can sort of, from your own personal experience with TP, he's 17 and 5. As TP, what is he doing?
I'm a full-time commentator for the Call of Duty World League on the side.
27, intéressant.
Right. And he's a completely selfish player, and he's likely allowing the other 5 members to run in front of him as he picks up the kills. And
I'm going to be honest. What's funny about that? He spent his entire career.
No, I know.
So when he stopped playing, he's like, you know what? I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to have some fun. So he just baits you every day now, and I can't blame him.
Yeah, he was the guy sprinting in first for a decade. He deserves a little time to dominate. But not surprised to see TP doing well, since he is one of the greatest Call of Duty players of all time.
Absolutely.
Call of Duty World Champion.
Jack, why are you looking at me and not the screen, dude? You getting smoked?
He doesn't know what you're saying.
He looks frustrated.
I think he knew what you were saying.
Yeah,
no, I think he's hungry. What's the score? 157, 124.
Yeah, it's close. This is a very close
tight one. Tight one early.
This is good.
Have you guys seen any guns like that? Maybe you didn't try out yesterday and we got to play that have blown you away.
This one, MP7, I was actually very curious. I think I tried it for like one life and didn't like it, but low recoil, but a submachine gun, you're very quick with it. And speaking of TP, and see, it's that field upgrade if he wants to use it, but just protect it and see. He knows that they're very close from winning this game.
TP just kind of going back to his inner competitive self.
Always.
Oh, look at his face, dude. He is dialed in.
Well,
that's what he was. So I think for some of these guys, so we had what a lot of the YouTubers that came in the other day to get content and play the game again. So for some of the streamers, I think it's their first time hands-on. So if you see them earn some streaks, maybe some field upgrades, and not bring them into play yet, I think they're all kind of learning. It's just their first time through. So I'm sure we'll see a lot more. Now we'll see. I think a cruise missile just got earned. Almost smokes another one, but Skadoodle.
One thing we haven't seen yet are the eliminations. Right, the execution style stuff that you can do. We didn't see it earlier on. I'm curious to see if maybe we get that at any point.
It's embarrassing. Somebody's got to do it. Wait, Myth is on a 5 streak. That's just what popped up at the top right.
I think so.
Oh yeah, Myth. He's right in front of me. He is. Look how fast his fingers are moving. This guy's turned.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody's hands move that quick.
Doug's behind him, just having a great time watching him.
Doug's like mind blown.
I'm mind blown.
That's
what
crazy.
It's a shotgun.
Skadoodle shuts him down. Close game, 185, 147. Be coming to an end relatively soon, but for the most part, it looks as if the blue team should be able to secure the W.
I wonder if he's going to call these streaks in. He's got that cruise missile.
Oh, Myth just called it a cluster strike, so somebody's probably about to get pounded.
There he goes. Didn't actually kill anyone.
Okay, so I take it back. No one was actually hit. What were they talking about? I believe, again, I think this was talked about yesterday when you and I were just sitting down with the devs, but some of the kill streaks that are in, right, you have to actually have a line of sight to use them. So it's not like, think of like our current game where you have the Hellstorm, you have the Lightning Strike, you can just pull that in wherever you want. Some of the kill streaks now, you have to have line of sight on enemy to actually use them.
Huh. Yeah, that was
so I think it's interesting because you need to get to that like power position. It's not you're not sort of called in off spawn. Like you have to get to like a good angle.
Yeah, basically have like a laser target that you need to just kind of put your laser out and be like, all right, this is where I want to drop my.
Previously. Oh, all right, team. I think you got a hit marker there.
That's right. Oh, it is team.
Oh, it is. He knows. All right, Mr. Polchow.
I think Shroud also had the same gun, and he missed his shot. And Teep said, you know what? I'm taking you down.
Call of Duty World Champion.
Donc voilà les amis, c'était le gameplay dans Domination sur le prochain Call of Duty qui va sortir le 25 octobre. J'espère que la vidéo vous a plu. N'hésitez pas à liker la vidéo, partager un max, ça me fait vraiment plaisir. Et vous abonner à ma chaîne. Et je vous dis à très bientôt. Ciao, bye bye.